Other than that, I'm pretty sure you're gonna remember how hard it was to get in front of this camera late at night and trying to record this video. I really know like 10, not even 10%, I'm giving myself maybe 3% of how the world really works. And even that little bit makes you go, damn, dude, I'm fucked. But anyway, enough of the sad talk. I know sometimes we walk around and we see different people in our community, and it's quite common for us now to walk around in hoodies and a sweatshirt and under athletic gear. A lot of people might not see anything wrong with it because technically there's nothing wrong with it. But I will say it is not helping anybody to keep dressing in these very casual clothes. Not wearing the appropriate clothing where we should. Like, I'm really guilty of wearing my athletic wear. When I work out, I will wear my athletic gear inside of stores and shops and things like that. I'm not gonna say that there is a right or wrong way to dress, but there are ways to dress to help improve your mood, improve the communities and the groups that you reside in, making you want to live your life better, striving to have a better life, striving to have a close group or circle of friends that you can count on, trusted friends and family that you can count on, you know, neighbors that you'd hopefully can count on in your time of need. You would never think that dressing in a certain way, you would never think that little things like taking time to figure out how to dress well, how to present yourself in an appropriate manner could actually help improve your life. And today, that's what we're gonna talk about. I want you to dress like you give a damn. I want you to stop thinking of your wardrobe as a secondary priority in your life and start bumping it up the chart to be like, this is the foundation to help achieve other goals in my life. If we can go to a job or your place of employment and you can give them the best of you by showing up in the appropriate attire, whatever dress code that they have laid out, and why can't you show up in your life the same way when you're expected to act a certain way? And even if you don't give your job a whole bunch, why can't you give yourself 110%? Why do you feel like you do not matter that much to give attention and love and care to dress this shell in the best way possible? Because that's a reflection of how you feel on the inside. This video argues for the reasons why we need to dress like we care. I'll go over a few tidbits and maybe guidelines to help you get to dressing and taking care of yourself way better. Stop with the compulsive need to wear hoodies and sweatpants. It really is a signal of laziness. It shows the world that you don't really care about your body, that you value comfort over dedication, devotion, getting through harder times. Even in times like this where everything feels like it's moving too fast, everything is getting more expensive, you might feel hopeless, the wedding of the dreams that you thought you might have by now haven't come to fruition. Maybe you thought you was gonna have a lot of kids as well. None of that seems to be happening. It seems like all of the dreams that we were sold are not coming true. We bought them, we bought into it, right? We bought into the routine, the unspoken social contract that if you go to college, become a boss babe, these not so, what we didn't know, not so great ideologies that were supposed to make you better, and they turn out they're making things not so great, right? You were told this and you were fed this and you did it. You did everything right and you're still not getting the life that you crave. We sit on our phones and we scroll through social media and we are constantly bombarded with people's lives that are doing so much better than us, living lives that we can only imagine, even lives that we didn't even know exist. And sometimes maybe like, have you ever been scrolling and you see like faceless content creators? They have these beautiful like shorts of their everyday morning routine and everything is so pristine and so perfect and so cute and cuddly. And you wonder, damn, why don't I have a life like that? And you start to project your own opinions. You become like indirectly attached to it, right? You want it. You want a life that looks like what you might see on your phone or you might see on TV. And you start to project, and then the projection turns into resentment, anger, stress, You know, all these little low grade hits of brain chemical, all these little hits of things that trigger your brain chemicals to go into like constant pumping out, which fatigues the rest of your organs in your body. So then now your body feel like it's under stress. Now you just feel like you constantly just have these like low level grades of stress that you can never really shake, and you don't feel comfortable. You wonder why you don't feel comfortable, why you feel on edge, why you feel like something's always about to happen. While it's because you don't feel comfortable. You don't feel comfortable in your own body. You don't feel comfortable in your own mind. Because you don't feel comfortable, you now dress for comfort. You need the security blanket with you at all times. Now our clothes have become a reflection of how uncomfortable we feel in here. You need that blanket, like that cloth-like feeling with you all the time, which turns into hoodies and sweatpants. Or maybe some leisure wear, something that's loose fitting and flowy. You grab those because secretly, subconsciously, we're looking for the literal security blanket. It's designed for you to look like you don't care when you very much care. And it's okay to care, which is gonna be another point. And we could say like clothes are getting more expensive, it's harder to find more quality clothes. While we know it's harder to find more quality clothes, like polyester and acrylic is running rampant in these streets. We can say that our ancestors, people that came before us, we'll just say for the sake of argument of this video, that maybe they had it harder than we did. They didn't have everything at their fingertips. They had to work a lot. Like think about it, if they wanted to take a road trip from here to, I don't know, Alabama, you'd have to rely on like paper maps. Like you would have to learn how to get through the country off of learning how to read a map. Or recipes, you would have to go through a book to find the recipe, or have these recipes passed down to you and you have to master them. They didn't have everything at their fingertips. Everything wasn't given to them. You know, if they didn't have the know-how to fix their car, they either had to learn that themselves or pay somebody else to do it, you know, maybe through bartering or whatever. I don't know. I'm just going through the imaginary scenarios in my head. Even though our ancestors had it a little bit more difficult than us, they still showed up for themselves by dressing a certain way. Even if these clothes weren't designer, they still put effort into their look. Even if they had to wash their clothes every day, it still mattered to them to put on better looking clothes, because that's what everybody else was doing around them. It just lifts up morale, you know, lifts up your spirit, lifts up your reason for being down here on earth, to make it that much easier. We can learn from that wisdom. We forgot the wisdom of dressing well, dressing appropriately for the situation, dressing not to offend other people, dressing to uplift yourself. Probably gonna ask, like, how do you replace all the hoodies and the sweatshirts and things like that? Well, you start where you can. Start by giving yourself certain rules, like I quit wearing polyester, or you know, maybe the blends could be different, like, and it has to be like organic materials. Replace your jeans. I remember a pimp had said in an interview, Soft White Underbelly, he said that the reason why he dressed in a suit all the time is because denim was like a working man's attire. It signaled that you were blue collar, basically. So in his line of work, in order to elevate himself, you wear the suit. If he can understand that simple concept, then so can you. Getting rid of jeans might help you pick out a better quality of pants. So you can pick out a trouser that's made out of wool. You can pick out a cotton button-down shirt. Even if you can't do that, make sure your Shein and Fashion Nova carts are full of appropriate clothing that make you feel feminine, make you feel masculine, and the silhouettes are classy, elegant. Just start there. Yeah, go on Pinterest and find the preppy style. That's a real good basic place to start. Then you can mold your style. You can mold your style in a way that fits better for you. Build it slow. Build your new wardrobe slow. You don't have to have everything all at once. Start removing and replacing things. Thrifting could be a good option if everything isn't Shein and Fashion Nova. Another one be mindful. Do not let anyone tell you that you're overdressed. You see it all the time. I remember me, my mom, and my daughter, all of us had gotten dressed to go, I forgot what we were doing that day, but I had on this really pretty blue dress from J. Crew. It was like a sheath dress with florals all over it. My daughter wore a nice floral dress, and my mom looked really nice too. And we went inside of the grocery store, and the lady comes out and is like, oh my goodness, you guys look like, what did you guys do, come back from church? Oh my God, you guys look so beautiful. It was like, no, it was just a day out for us. We didn't dress like that all the time, but it was just a nice day out for us. And we usually try to look our best wherever we go. My mom grew up like that. Her mom grew up like that. Always get ready because you never know who's going to be stopping by. Then there's this other instance where I had a friend a long time ago, and I went to go meet her in her city for her birthday. And this is when I just started getting on like being more feminine and learning how to date better. And obviously, like, once you get to a certain point, the biggest thing with the feminine lady community is that you gotta dress a certain way to get the lifestyle that you want, right? So I dressed, and it wasn't, like, looking back on it, it wasn't even that great, but I got myself dressed up because, going out of town, like, more than likely you're gonna dress the best of your ability, right? Because at least for me, I don't want to go out of town and be like, damn, where are you from, Cleveland? Like, no one's gonna clock. I don't want nobody to clock me like, what's up with them Cleveland bitches? No, I'm gonna look the best that I can. I don't have the greatest style advice. Yeah, I don't have the greatest style aesthetic, I'm not the greatest, but I'm not bad at it. Yeah, so as I'm getting dressed, or as we head out, she was like, why are you wearing that? I think it was like a little bustier top, and like I was gonna put on my wig and like the hat over it. And she's like, why are you wearing that? Like, and I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I'm thinking like, oh shit, I done fucked up. I look ugly. And she was like, no, you're just so good looking like that. And then I'm just like this. And then she had like a cut off. We was going to a spa, that's where we were going. And she had like a cut off. It wasn't the greatest thing. It was like a cut off shirt and then like jean, if I remember right. And then she's like, well, you can't go looking like that because then I look like this. We're going to the spa, like, you look like that and I look like this. And and I remember thinking like, what? Like, I don't like that. What does that mean? I just remember that will always stick with me that she said something like that. Because I felt like, well, why don't you elevate your look instead of like, and I remember thinking like, okay, just because you're going to the spa, don't mean you gotta look like shit. What is it? Wouldn't you want to look pretty and like feel refreshed and maybe go grab something to eat afterwards and look good? That never sat well with me that she said that. Like, I remember not at the time not knowing. I'm like, well, why don't you rise yourself up to meet me instead of trying to make me come down there? Why don't you come up here? I remember thinking that, and I didn't quite put that in words because I didn't want to tell her that. I just wanted, the trip to go well. Like, I didn't want to cause too much of a ruckus. So I think I ended up taking the wig off, and that was it. And I was like, that was about as far as I could go. I just didn't want to took the wig off, put the hat on. I said, yeah, that's it. I won't go any lower than this. Now that I'm reflecting on it, it's not the first time that someone says like, oh, you overdressed. Like, what are you up to? Like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going? And even sometimes my daughter goes in my room and like, if I'm putting on makeup and everything, she's like, where are you going? Because I don't get too dolled up all the time. I make sure I take care of the basics, but I'm not dolled up all the time. And it just makes you realize that it wakes people up. When you start dressing a certain way and you start taking care of yourself, and then you start to show the world how much you want to take care of yourself, and you take pride in how you look, it wakes people up. It shows them their inadequacies. It shows them there's no excuse for you to not put a little extra thought into how you look on that particular day. Yeah, it shows them where they're failing, and people don't want to see that. You get that shock of, oh, wait a second. And it's subtle, it isn't, obviously I'm being a little dramatic, but you are the light, the beacon that's showing them, okay, wait, I can do better for myself and I can show up, and it's okay to want to do better and dress better. That's why you can't get caught up in people saying, oh, you so overdressed, like, oh, where you going, like, who you trying to impress? Just simply be like, nowhere. I'm trying to impress me. This is for me. This is for no one else but me. And let it go. Just let it go, because that is one of the biggest obstacles that you could get caught up in when you start dressing appropriately. Dressing better is a signal of leaving behind adolescence. It's a signal of you growing up. And it's time to grow up, babe. It's time to grow up. It truly is. Leave behind the days of just throwing whatever on your body because you pretend like you don't care what anybody thinks. You care. You care. It's okay. It's okay to care what somebody else thinks. That's what makes the world better. If we didn't care about what anyone else thinks, it would just be a world full of psychopaths and sociopathic behavior. That's why those rules were in place. We forgot the wisdom of why you should show up dressed appropriately. They try to turn it on your head to be like, well, dressing nice is something that rich elites do, and because I have beef, this one-sided beef with rich people or the elites, that I can't be like them, so I need to denounce whatever it is they're doing over there so I can indulge in whatever vices I have over here. The mindset of I don't care what anyone thinks of me is done. It's over with. We care. We've called your bluff. People care, and it's okay to care. The reason why I say it's leaving adolescence is because usually when you're a teenager, you want to come across as nonchalant, like you haven't been hurt by the world. When you're an adolescent, it's just cool to not care. It's cool to not give a fuck. It's cool to be rebellious. It's cool to put your life on the line. It's cool to indulge in those I don't care habits, that rebellious, that risky behavior. More than likely, you are trying to relieve some of the angst and all those hormone changes and all those changes is going on in your body. You're trying to make sense of it. You have no control of it. All your peers around you are doing one thing, and to prove yourself to your group of peers, you'll do some of us will you'll do a lot to be accepted. And we've carried that attitude. No, we've stunted our growth. You have an epidemic of arrested development where we still try to cling on to adolescence habits, adolescent mindsets, and we haven't really grown out of that. Dressing better pushes you out of that. It pushes you out of the aloofness and the angst of your teen years. It pushes you into adulthood. And when you're in adulthood, what do? You start taking accountability for your life. You start focusing on the things that you can control. You start focusing on giving yourself the real fulfillment, putting your head down, grinding it out, working hard so you get the life that you can. When you get thrusted out of adolescence, you don't want to be called girly or girly pop, or you don't really see yourself as a girl no more. It's almost an insult to be like, I ain't no girl. What you talking about? It's almost an insult. And when we go to, I was taking my daughter to American Eagle, they have really cute clothing inside of that store. And then you see the sweatpants and the hoodies, and you're just like, this is such a lazy way to dress now. But kids that age, they should have like easy access to just kind of want to throw on clothes and be comfortable and not stand out too much and want to fit in. It's understandable that they would want to do that. They're up against a lot. They're up against ratty ass other fucked up individuals thrown together in these fucking concentration camps, and totally, they should just kind of get a little bit of relief from that. Eventually, you're supposed to grow out of that because you're not in that same circumstance or that environment. Sure, there might be little certain similarities when you get to your job and things like that, but you're supposed to grow out of that. You're supposed to grow out of wanting to always dress in a nonchalant way. And I find that once you do start taking accountability for how you dress, other parts of your life will improve. You'll start, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. When you dress better, you get treated better. Yeah, they lied to us when they said don't judge a book by its cover. We are all judging books by all the covers. It's natural. It's a natural human instinct to want to judge the books by the cover. So you need to accept that. You need to accept that, yes, appearances do matter. But in accepting that, that means you have control now. Like, you get to take that control of the narrative that is you, control of your own narrative. You get to curate what you want other people to see about you. Sure, you might want other people to see that you don't care and I'm against the establishment and blah, 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 that teen bullshit. Or you get to say, hey, you know what? I'm a person worth looking at. I'm a person that needs to be taken seriously, that needs to be respected. I'm a person of integrity. I'm a person of worth. Of course, everybody that dresses in such a way is not those things, but they at least understand the fundamentals of making you believe that. And what better way to show the world that you're not a fraud and that you actually believe in your own principles is to dress in a delightful, beautiful, eye-catching, pleasant way. What better way to take back some of the control that we may have feel like we lost? Or just taking control, planning out, and picking out a great outfit for the day. What better way? And you get treated better, you feel better, you get to spread some of that positivity to other people around you. Why not start having the world reflect back how wonderful you are? Are you the greatest human being? No. Are you flawed? Absolutely. But to have the world reflect back that you are okay as you are okay despite your flaws, despite all the little mistakes that you've made. How the world reflect that back to you? Have this signal, which is your clothing, that the world should respect you, that everybody around you should respect you. All right, I'm in this video here. I hope someone enjoyed it. I appreciate every single view, every single like that gets to grace this video. I'm utterly appreciative and I'm very appreciative and very grateful for the time that you have spent with me. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Pretty please and thank you. And I hope to see you again in the next one.